ways ain't no use today. We've got to live in love. Crime and violence don't pay.
3, 2, 1. WEFM is SVG.
Good morning once again, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Welcome to WEFM 99.9, the clean first sound. It's a wonderful Thursday morning, and as usual on Thursday mornings and activated mornings, we have Cop Chat from 8 to 9 o'clock. This morning, we're going to be talking about human trafficking in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In studio, we have our guest. He's Corporal of Police, Mr. Garet Dopwell. We say good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you, Christal.
Come close to the microphone. Yes.
Thank you. Good morning to you, Christal. And thank you for having me today, this morning on Cop Chat.
All right. Awesome. Welcome. It's a pleasure having you. So, causes and effects of human trafficking. By the way, we're live on Facebook and YouTube at WEFM 99 SVG if you want to take a look. And if you have to leave your physical radio, then you can continue viewing there. Of course, share the link so that other persons can get in on this important discussion. This is an interactive program, so you can call us at 457-9997. You can also WhatsApp us at 457-9994. If you have a question, comment, anything at all, you want to make a contribution, you are free and able to do so. Let's say good morning to Anne. Now, let's start off this morning's Cop Chat. Human trafficking. It sounds self-explanatory, but tell us what exactly is human trafficking?
Well, before I begin in respect to human trafficking, let us say that it is a crime that a lot of persons take for granted, but it is a very, very serious crime. And when it comes to human trafficking, it does not discriminate against who you are, whether it be you're a child, you're an adult, you're rich, you're poor. And let's just say human trafficking, it's slavery. It's modern day slavery. And we know slavery have been taking place from since time immemorial, since in the days of Cain and Abel. So before I start, I'm just going to give you a brief overlay of what is human trafficking. And I'm just going to give you with a global overview. Now, it is said that over 1 million children are trafficked annually.
1 million children.
Over 1 million children. So while we're here discussing the topic of human trafficking, children have thus become victims of human trafficking as we speak, even adults. Right? Now, human trafficking, it is the second most lucrative criminal network, second only to drug trafficking. So you have drug trafficking, then you have human trafficking. It's very profitable. And also, forced labor is the largest type of trafficking. It is said that roughly 21 million are victims, with a net profit of approximately $150 billion in profit each year. And this figure was given by the International Labour Organization, ILO, with sex trafficking being the most profitable. Now, with that said, I'm going to give you the definition of trafficking in persons. Now, trafficking in persons means the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons by means of threats, of use of force, or of other forms of coercion, of abduction, of fraud, of deception, of the abuse of power, or a position of vulnerability of giving or receiving of payments or benefits to achieve the consent of a person having control over another person for the purpose of exploitation. And this definition came out of Article 3 of the United Nations Protocol to prevent, suppress, and punish trafficking in persons especially women and children. Now, when you see this definition, to you, you might think it's very long, it's very lengthy, it's very technical. But basically, what we're stating is it's a recruitment. You're either by threats or force, and the main purpose is exploitation. Now, exploitation is what the criminals do to you,
Yeah.
to make that $150 billion profit each year. Now, later on, I'm going to show you the different type of exploitation. But in trafficking in persons, human trafficking, there's a subsection called child trafficking. And when we speak about child trafficking, we speak about persons who are under the age of 18. Now, there are different stages when it comes to trafficking. Now, with child trafficking, we only need to show 2 of these stages. And I'm going to tell you these stages are.
Yeah. How many stages in all?
There are actually 3 stages.
3, okay.
When it comes to trafficking.
So children.
No. There are actually 3 stages that one must prove to show that there is a case of human trafficking.
Okay.
Right?
But you said for children,
we only need to show 2. To show 2.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
So the 3 stages that need to be proved in order to show that there's a case of human trafficking. First is the activity stage. And the activity stage is the recruitment, the transportation, the transfer, harboring, or receipt of persons. Now, recruitment can be an ad in the newspaper. It could be an ad on Facebook where you see somebody is asking for a babysitter, a bartender with little or no experience. But when you look at the benefits, your salary, it's up there.
Too good to be true.
So that's too good to be true. So that entices you. And you automatically want to reply to that ad. Oh, I'm interested. I want that position. But you yourself know that you have no experience at all in that position. But you want to because of the salary. Or they might say, we would pay for your airfare to come to country A, where we're seeking employees. Even your family or friends could even recruit you. And
in those cases, they would stand to benefit.
They would stand to benefit one way or the other. Transportation can be movement from one location. So I could have you, Christal, as a victim of human trafficking or potential victim. I can move you from here at WEFM to Kingston, Kittels, Beckway. Or I could transport you regionally through another Caribbean country, whether it be Barbados, Trinidad, Jamaica, or I could even move you internationally to, say, Canada, United States, England, wherever. That's the transportation process. And the transfer process is from one individual to another. Human trafficking is an organized crime. So you have multiple players, each person's having a role to play in this crime. So you might have persons whose job is just to recruit individuals. You have persons whose job is just to move these individuals from one location to the other. And you have those whose responsibility is to house that individual, which is the harboring. So you can be harbored at a farm, a brothel, a hotel, a restaurant. And as I said to you, receipt of persons, that's where you're eventually going to be exploited. Now, when we speak about means, and means is the second stage. Means means threat or use of force or other forms of coercion, abduction, fraud, deception, abuse of power, or of position of vulnerability. Now, when we, threats. Now, the thing is that with human trafficking, these traffickers use different means to get you to comply with what they want. So they might threaten you. They might say, if you don't do what I want you to do, I'm going to cause harm to you, or I'm going to cause harm to your loved ones. So sometimes what they do is that they do background checks on you. So most of the time, they might tend to single out a single mother. And you know, mothers are very protective of their children.
Right.
So they
And
would say,
vulnerable because of that.
thank you very much. Right? So do what I want you to do, or I will go after your children. And who mother would not do anything to try to protect their children? Use of force. Force might be kidnapping. And the thing is that with human trafficking, the humans are the product. So if you go in a supermarket and you want to purchase a tin of corned beef, and you take up that tin and you notice it says death, you're going to put it back down.
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing happens here with humans. So force tends to really be used, because obviously you're not going to want to be damaging your product, because they will be of no use to you. If they're seriously injured, they can perform the task that you want them to perform. Or if your role is to get individuals for sale. Because, you know, when you look back at old pictures of slavery, when you have the slaves up for sale, you notice that they would examine them. They have them there naked, they have them examined, they check the teeth, they check their arms to see how strong they are. And this is basically what happens. So force tends to really be used. What you find happening is deception, threats being used to recruit these individuals. And the third stage is the exploitation stage or purpose. And this is what they use you for, to make the money. Because as I said to you, it's a money-making business for them. Now, remember I spoke about child trafficking. Now, with child trafficking, in order for us to prove child trafficking, we only need to show 2 stages, as I mentioned to you before. And those stages are the activity stage, which shows that they were recruited, that child was recruited, transported from one location to another, and the exploitation stage. We don't need to show whether threat, force, or deception was used for that child.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now,
before you go on, who is trafficked the most? What age group? Perhaps gender as well.
Okay, well, from investigations and stats from different organizations, it shows that women are up there, followed by children. Followed by children. And I'm not saying because women are more vulnerable or tend to put themselves more out there why this happened. But they're the ones who are targeted because, as I mentioned to you earlier back, sex trafficking is the most profitable. So hence the reason why females would be up there.
You spoke about it being a very lucrative business.
Yes, it is.
And what I'm thinking is, if there's a transfer of money somewhere, they're going to try to find a way to integrate that or wash it.
Right. That is so true. Because it's money. So they have different ways of trying to make that money that they're making legitimate. And one of the things that we do at the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit, when we investigate cases of human trafficking, potential cases of human trafficking, the Financial Intelligence Unit, they also investigate. They run parallel investigations along. Because remember, it's the money that these traffickers are making. And once you take away the money from them, that's basically what you want.
Yeah, and I guess maybe I'm thinking the telltale signs that you're not able to share would sort of look similar to money laundering or drug trafficking. They'll find a way to integrate that into and wash the money per se. This is so interesting.
Right.
Are you able to tell us what sort of maybe not, but businesses, like what does it look like? Because they're hiding in broad daylight.
They're hiding in broad daylight.
What does it look like, or what could it potentially look like?
So, human trafficking, it can take the form of any business at all. It can be a construction company where you have persons who are working there with little or no pay at all. It could be a supermarket. It can be a restaurant. It could be a bar. It could be any form of business whatsoever.
Mhm.
It could even be babysitting. As simple as that. And as I said to you later on, I'm going to show you the different type of exploitations, and you're going to see how human trafficking actually takes place,
Okay.
right? But in brief, St. Vincent and Grenadines, we have been doing a lot when it comes to human trafficking. We have, as where I'm here today, doing a lot of awareness, sensitizations in respect of letting persons know what is human trafficking, the dangers of human trafficking, and how to protect themselves when it comes to human trafficking.
So there's an entire department. So
There's
tell
an
us
entire-
about that department, when it started, maybe how many persons are in charge of that, and so on.
Okay. Well, the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force in 2012 started the anti-trafficking in persons unit. That unit was headed by Miss Ruth Jacobs,
Mhm.
ASPF police. She has since retired. Also, the current head of the anti-trafficking in persons unit, Mr. Junior Simmons, Assistant Superintendent of Police, along with myself, Corporal Garet Dopwell, and Constable Shannon Joseph.
Mhm.
We make up the anti-trafficking in persons unit. Yes, you might think that we're small in numbers, but we are driven in terms of the work that we do. And we are seeing the benefits out there
Mhm.
from what we have been doing.
When you say benefits, what are you referring to?
Well, let's just knock wood, but let us say that St. Vincent and Grenadines, so far we have only had one arrest when it comes to human trafficking, and that was in 2015. Sad to say that that case was dismissed, but as far as we could identify cases of human trafficking, there is basically little or none that we can identify. Reason being, persons in St. Vincent and Grenadines, they are protecting themselves. They are taking this crime very seriously. And one of the, let us say, great things that we would have done at the unit is that we would have gone to every single primary, secondary, and college within St. Vincent and Grenadines and made students, teachers aware about the dangers of human trafficking. We have gone to churches. We have done training with our diplomats and consuls. We have done training with immigration officers, prison officers. We have done training with the Red Cross. So persons out there actually know what is human trafficking, dangers of human trafficking, and what to look out for when it comes to human trafficking.
Right, but you will still need the reminders.
You would still need the reminders.
Right, some people might miss it and so
Yes.
on. When you mentioned recruitment, I can recall many times seeing on Facebook, social media, recruitments for jobs. When you look at it, sometimes the email address is a little unusual.
Yeah, that's just sketchy.
Yeah, and oftentimes they come through like those buy and sell groups. Is that maybe part of the monitoring process?
Right, and that's a monitoring process, as you rightfully said. Yes, we would see as like those, we do our due diligence to find out whether or not they are legitimate, because we do know that persons use social media to try to get persons to work for them. But once that is not legitimate, we tend to put out notices, a press release to say that this can be a potential case of recruitment for human trafficking. Please do not reply to it. Please do not engage with these individuals. Do not exchange contact numbers with them, because you're putting yourself at risk of becoming a victim of human trafficking.
Right. Is it a combination of the maybe an interested applicant, prospective applicant? Sorry, if they see something on social media, they reach out to you and you do your investigations or your due diligence, or is it that you see it and then you do your investigations yourself if it looks a little fishy?
Well, it goes both ways. Sometimes we see it, we do our due diligence, and then if it's fishy or it doesn't pan out to be real, as I said, we put out a press release. And then sometimes persons will come and say that I saw an ad, whether it be on Facebook or on newspaper, and I want to know if it's real, because I'm interested in applying, but I don't want to put myself in harm's way. And then we do our due diligence to get back to them. If it's legitimate, then we said, yes, it's real. You can go ahead and apply. If it's not real, then we said that disregard, don't engage.
Okay. Now, we have not had any convictions in human trafficking to date, but have we, or do we have any ongoing investigations?
At this present moment, no. There isn't any ongoing investigations for human trafficking.
Okay.
At the moment.
All right. So if you're just joining us, welcome to WEFM 99.9's Cop Chat for today, Thursday, April 27th. It is 8:28. We're due for a break. Somebody's asking, human trafficking in St. Vincent is normally given headline news. Is it right to say that is a major problem, but not as large as other countries? Why is it not given the same headlines?
Any crime in St. Vincent and Grenadines is given headline. Now, the thing with human trafficking, it's a very serious crime. So once there's a slight detection of human trafficking probably taking place, it's going to be highlighted. Now, remember, and this is a perfect example. If you return to your home and your home is broken, you're going to call the police or you're going to go to the nearest police station and make a report of burglary. The thing is that with victims of human trafficking, that privilege is not allotted to them. They cannot just pick up a phone and say, I'm a victim of human trafficking, I need help. We are the ones who have to go and search out for those victims. And one of the things that we would say to individuals, if you see something, know something, say something. Be your brother's keeper.
All right, so let's take a break and come right back.
Census 2023. They're counting you, they're counting me. Must be united. Attention Vincentians. The 2023 Population and Housing Census is on. They're counting you, they're counting me. Census Day is June 15th, 2023. The data collection period runs from June 16th to September 15th, 2023. Your cooperation with the enumerators is vital. Do not turn them away. Give truthful information. The information collected will benefit the whole country. Remember, on this we must be united. Stand up and be counted. Stand up and be counted.
I was looking for a cough syrup, looking for a drug to help this pain here in my throat. I needed something fast to help me with my cold. Then I turned around and there you go. I went into a store and I found what I needed when I shouted Super Help.
Super Help Pharmacy. We're located on Grenville Street, formerly Isles Boutique. Come in and check out our wide variety of over-the-counter prescriptions, medications, personal care products, and much more. Take advantage of our free delivery services, blood pressure, sugar, and cholesterol testing. Open Mondays to Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Fridays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call or WhatsApp us at 497-8737 or 457-8737. Super Health Pharmacy. Your health is our priority.
And I found what I needed when I shouted super help.
Ready, set, surf. Singer, your favorite family store is now online. Log on today at www.singersvg.com and enjoy our store and products right at your fingertips. Now online are your trusted brands that you have come to love. Refrigerators to chest freezers, gas cookers to toasters, air fryers, mattresses, living room sets, and so much more. Browse our products, check the specs, compare brands and prices, and request parts all online. We have also made bill payments easier, more convenient, and simpler just for you. Log on to www.singersvg.com to learn more. Singer, your family company is keeping up with you and the times. Visit our website today and experience a whole new world of Singer, your trusted online family company.
It's all about the glam with stylish new frames from Quartz Optical. Shop today for up to 50% off and pay nothing for 30 days. Book now at www.quartzoptical.com. Get the look you want at the price you need. Plus, at Quartz Optical, our eye exams are always free. So what are you waiting for? Come down and get glam. With up to 50% selected frames. Quartz Optical. Value you can see.
Lynch Caribbean Brokers is here to innovate how insurance works for you, here to design and deliver insurance solutions, proven solutions tailored to your business. Solutions from our global network of insurance experts, which all comes with an indigenous Vinci touch of excellence. We're more than just insurance brokers, SVG. We're your trusted risk advisors. Lynch Caribbean always has your back. Contact us today for insurance solutions, strategic risk advisory, and more. Call 453-3300, email info@lynchcaribbean.com, or visit our office at Beachmont, Kingstown.
Nothing else sounds as good as
WEFM, the clean, fresh sound.
Good morning and welcome back. This morning for Cop Chat, we're talking about human trafficking, causes and effects. Before we continue, let me just let you know today's guest is Corporal of Police Garet Dopwell. The number to call is 457-9997 if you have a question or a comment, and the number to WhatsApp if you do the same, 457-9994. Now, there are laws in place. There's an act.
There's an act.
Right. So if somebody is prosecuted and found guilty, what could happen to that person?
Well, in 2011, the Prevention of Trafficking in Persons Act was passed, which criminalized the offense of human trafficking within St. Vincent and Grenadines. And the act speaks about a person who engage in, conspires to engage in, attempts to engage in, assist another person to engage in, or direct or organize another person to engage in trafficking in persons, commits an offense and is liable on conviction, on indictment, to a fine of $250,000 or 15 years imprisonment or both at current. Now, there are aggravating factors that one could receive while committing the offense, whether it be the victim got pregnant, they contacted an STD, or use a weapon while forcing this person to commit the offense of human trafficking. And you can receive an additional 20 years imprisonment, which takes that up to 35 years. At current, the act is being amended, is in the process of being amended to take away the fine. So once you're found guilty of human trafficking, you automatically receive its jail time.
Yeah, that would make
Jail time.
sense
That makes
because
sense.
you would have the money,
You would have the money, or you have means of making the money.
right?
Okay, so
If you're outside, then you
Jail.
can. That makes a lot of sense.
jail.
Now, if there's a conviction in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but that is just one leg of or one person within the overall process, what happens to the other people who are either transporting, transferring, or have a business that's involved in that particular ring of human trafficking?
Right. So as I said to you, human trafficking is organized crime. And what we do, as I said to you, we work with different agencies. So we tend to work with the FIU that would investigate the money part. You cannot benefit from proceeds of crime. So once you can identify any forms of property assets that came from this criminal enterprise, the FIU would do the due diligence to have that seized, forfeited. Also, we work with different agencies throughout the Caribbean and internationally, and we also work along with other police force. So, for instance, if there is during our investigation, it shows that this person was taken to, say, Barbados or Trinidad, we contact the human trafficking department there. We give them the information, and they do their investigations also to assist. Because as I said to you, it's organized crime. So you have different persons playing different roles, and you might have different roles being taken part in different countries. So you just can't just investigate in St. Vincent and just leave it as that in St. Vincent. You have to investigate wherever it takes you.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next item on the agenda. What does human trafficking look like? I know that there are different types. So let's get into those.
Right. So as I said to you, human trafficking can be taking place right in front of you and you don't even know. And
that's scary.
Yeah, it's scary because if you don't know what to look out for, then you're just being ignorant when it comes to the offense. Now, most victims of human trafficking, they are in plain sight, but we tend not to be able to identify them because, as I said to you, you don't know what you're looking out for.
Right.
They're basically operating under the radar.
Right.
Now we have labor exploitation as one of these type of activities engaged by the traffickers. Now, labor exploitation can be having individuals working on a farm, working in a factory from sunrise to sunset with no rest, unsafe conditions, and little or no pay at all. That's one of the different types of exploitation when it comes to human trafficking. So picture this, you as a construction worker, well, a contractor, and you have been paid thousands of dollars to construct a building. But instead of having to take a percentage of that to pay workers, you have workers who you're exploiting, who are basically either working for you free, or instead of them being paid, whether it be $100 a day, you're paying them, say, $20 a day. So imagine the amount of money that you're making there, and that's just one site. Think about if you have 3, 4, and you're operating like that. You see the amount of money that you're making?
Nice.
Even with the major companies. And if you follow the news, you know, they had sweatshops where you have shoes. A lot of products that we use today are being mass produced in factories where persons they receive little or no money at all. Who benefits there? The factory owners, the companies who are outsourcing.
Are there like certain countries that are pinpointed as like major red dots?
Well, what you'll find happening is some countries like and I don't really want to be calling it, but it's there.
The stats are there, right?
The stats are there.
Okay.
Like India, China. A couple years ago, Apple actually got a fine because they had workers. There was workers in a factory. They were standing for long hours. They were not seated, producing iPhones. You have back in the days and currently have sweatshops that produce shoes for like Nike. Where these workers, they don't even wear these shoes. And the payment for
Do
them.
they wear shoes?
No, not at all. So you see what it is there. It takes little for you to produce, but when you sell the product, you sell it for large sums of money. So you see the profit there.
Yeah.
Right? The second exploitation we have is prostitution, pornography, where you have women, men, and children being forced to have sex, engage in the act of sex for money. And most of the time, this is done unwillingly. They are drugged, they are beaten, they are tortured, they're placed in a state of disarray where this act takes place. And there is a case, well, there's actually a survivor of human trafficking. A lady from Mexico. She was actually forced into prostitution by her boyfriend. And it is said that she was raped over 32,000 times.
What?
The article is there. It's on YouTube. There's a CNN documentary on it.
32,000.
Human trafficking victim raped over 32,000 times.
Oh, that's depressing.
Very depressing. Very much depressing. And we know that there are persons who would leave these pedophiles, these predators, who would leave their countries and come into the Caribbean looking to engage in sexual activities with young boys, young girls. As we know, there's something called sex tourism, where persons will go into other countries looking for sex that is being offered willingly. There are countries in the Caribbean where you can walk around. You don't even have to approach somebody. They approach you and ask you if you want to purchase sex. What do you want? Do you want boys? Do you want girls? Do you want women? Do you want men? Do you want for an hour? Do you want for a day? How much do you want? Do you want 2? Do you want 3? What is your advice? I can get that for you.
Wow.
So that is why we at the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit, we are trying to do so much to prevent the offense of human trafficking from taking over our shows. As we said, we're St. Vincent Grenadines, Iruna, land of the blessed, and that is how we want it to remain.
Okay. All right. So are there any more besides forced labor and sex trafficking?
Right. So you have
or sex.
You have child soldiers, where children, also adults, are used in military. They are tortured, they are beaten, they are conditioned to fight. And if they refuse, they're killed, or their loved ones are even threatened to be killed. They're deemed to be expendable. If they die, they can be replaced within hours or days. You have domestic servitude, where persons are kept in homes. They are forced to be the maid, clean, wash, iron, take care of the children. Sometimes they're kept in a small room with sometimes a sponge on the ground or no sponge, a bucket for them to do their business. A locked door, windows are blocked out, burglar bars. The only time that they're removed from that room is when there is a job to be done. So that is why I said to you, we have to do our part. These persons just cannot pick up the phone and say, I'm a victim of human trafficking, I need help.
Help me, save me. Yeah?
Help you. You try to go to the police. If you try to go to the police, I know your family will take care of your family. When I say take care, not financially.
But do what you have to
harm.
do. Okay.
Talking about harming your family. And that's why we said human trafficking is an organized crime. Because, for instance, you might be, well, you're from St. Vincent. So suppose now you have a child here and I traffic you to, say, Jamaica. You know that I know that about your child. I have threatened you and say, if you don't do what I'm doing, I'm going to cause harm to your child. Now, when we rescue you in Jamaica, the authorities in Jamaica rescue you. You see now why there's a need that they need to contact us here in St. Vincent? Because you're not going to cooperate because your child is here. So that's why we work along with different organizations, the different law enforcement.
Okay. Makes sense.
Right? We have drug trafficking as one of the exploitations, where these traffickers use men, women, and children to work in their plantations to process the drugs, to sell the drugs, also to act as protection. We have street begging, where children are taken from their homes, they are forced to go on the streets and beg. They are made disfigured. Sometimes have them being scarred, their wrist, fingers being cut off, feet being woefully broken, so that when they go to individuals and they beg for money, persons will feel sympathetic and give them. This money has to go back to them. If they don't give the money or they try to steal it, they're beaten, they're not fed, or sometimes they even kill. To show an example, if you try to rob me, this is what can happen to you. You have removal of organs, where persons are tricked into selling their body parts. And most of the time, these persons are persons who have a debt to repay. They're not working, but they might have borrowed money, and they have to find a means of paying back for the money that they would have borrowed. So somebody might come along and say, okay, I want to buy a kidney. They agree with the figure because they say, okay, well, with this money, I could help clear debt or help put a drop in the bucket. But what happens? Why am I just going to take one kidney when I could take all? I have no regard for you because I'm making money. And this is just a quick math in terms of the cost of body parts. Your eyes are valued at 30,000 US. Your lungs are valued at 150,000 US. Your heart, 130 US. Your liver, 98,000 US, and your kidneys, 62,000 US. So if I am to take a human being and I'm to harvest all their body parts and place them on the black market for sale, look at the amount of money that I'm making from just one individual. Picture I have 10 individuals, 20, 100. You see the amount of money that
that's pretty scary.
Yeah, so that's why sometimes when you're traveling, you have to be very careful where you eat, where you drink. Because I could slip something in your drink when you're not looking, or I could offer you a drink, drug you, take you somewhere, harvest all your parts, and sell them on the black market.
You're gone.
Dispose of your body, or just place you at the side of the road.
Ouch. We got 9 minutes left. Are there any more that we need to focus on?
No, what I'm going to briefly on individual consequences of human trafficking. Victims of human trafficking, they would receive physical and sexual abuse, rape or physical assault, physical, sexual, psychological trauma. These are some of the things that they would experience. Health risks such as sexual transmitted diseases, pelvic inflammatory diseases, hepatitis, tuberculosis, the spread of HIV/AIDS, unwanted pregnancies, forced abortion, abortion complications, mental and emotional problems, including nightmares, insomnia, and suicidal tendencies. Also, alcohol and drug abuse and addiction, and even suicide and murder. What I must say also is that with human trafficking, victims of human trafficking, once you would have committed a crime while being a victim, you're immune from prosecution. So if you were forced to commit murder, you cannot be charged for murder. You cannot be charged for prostitution. You cannot be charged for any offense while you are a victim of human trafficking. And as I said to you also, it's a very serious crime. The state is responsible for taking care of victims. Once identified, we will provide housing for you, medical care. If you're a foreigner, you cannot be deported. You cannot be deported out of the country.
Right. Because you have an obligation.
You have an obligation.
What should I look out for as a normal person? What should I look out for?
Okay, one of the things that you should look out for is that victims of human trafficking, they tend to be shy. A victim of human trafficking, one of the things, tattoos. Tattoos are red flags. So sometimes you might see 4 or 5 persons with the same tattoo, whether it be on their wrist, their neck. That's a sign. Because they would brand their girls. So person we know, this person belongs to me, do not mess with them. Persons who are shy. They don't speak. They're always in company of somebody who would speak for them, who would tend to be controlling their movements. Little or no money at all. They never have money. Movement. You see somebody come in and drop them off in the morning, pick them up in the evening. They don't get to move around by themselves. Language barrier. That can be one of the red flags also.
Yeah.
So, then this time is short, but
yeah,
the information is out there.
Yeah.
The information is out there. You can do a lot of investigations on your own as to human trafficking, your red flags, how to identify victims,
right,
where victims are commonly found, and what to do.
Okay.
When it comes to human trafficking.
Briefly, how do I protect myself?
As I said to you, if you suspect something, you follow your intuition. Reach out.
Person's
reach out to the
intuition might be,
police.
yeah, let me go get this money, you know.
Yes, but then what is going to happen to you afterwards?
But maybe nothing rings off a red an alarm in your head because you may be in financial or dire straits at the time. So this is a way out for me.
And those are the persons who are targeted.
Right.
Okay, for instance, if I'm a trafficker and I see on social media somebody put, I'm fed up of being at home, I need a job.
We have a lot of those on Facebook.
I'm gonna write to you and say, hey, what? I have a job that I can give to you. I'm looking for a babysitter. I'm looking for a bartender. I operate a business, and I'm willing to give you a chance. I'm willing to help you.
Mm-hmm.
You might say, oh, I don't have the means of getting to that country. It's not a problem. I'm going to buy your ticket. I'm going to provide your housing for you. You're going to jump at it.
Don't do it.
Get there now. Instead of being a bartender, I'm going to force you into prostitution. I'm going to tell you, here what? You see this money that I spent for you for ticket and your housing accommodations, you need to pay me back that. So if your salary was supposed to be, say, $1,000 a week, you might only get 100. because I'm saying I need to.
If you get anything at all.
Thank you. I need to recover the money that I spent for your visa, your work permit, your accommodations. Then you might not have any money up there when you go there, and you might say, "Boss, can you lend me $200 till I get paid? You could take it out the salary." So you see what's happening?
All right,
You
so
keep
basically,
on working and working, and that is what we call debt bondage. So you're basically working with the idea of paying back the money, but you don't know how much you're actually paying back. So that's one of the ways in which they control you by debt bondage.
Wow. Now, we only got 3 more minutes. In terms of, you said if you see something,
say something.
Say something. Who do we say it to?
Okay, so there
contacts, location, everything.
So the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit, we are located at the Kittels Police Station. And you can ask for myself, Corporal Dopwell, or Constable Joseph. The number there is 456-1750. Also, the head of the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit, ASP Junior Simmons, he is located at the Central Police Station at the Office of the Public Relations and Complaints Department. And you can go there and contact him, speak with him. Everything that is said is done in privacy. Also, there is an email address, which is the atipu@rsvgpf.vc.
Okay.
Also, we do have a Facebook page that you can reach out to us on. It's the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Unit, RSVGPF. And we tend to post information. If we see stuff that is taking place, we will post information there to alert the general public about protect yourself and your loved ones.
All right.
And
okay.
I must say, if there are any organizations, any individual that want us to come into your schools, your church, to make persons aware about human trafficking, reach out to us.
Okay.
We would gladly accept that invitation.
I could be the other way around too.
Vice versa.
All right. So we're gonna wrap things up. But 1 more minute. Your final thoughts before we close off.
Well, as I said to you, we need to be our brother's keepers. And I'll just leave this note. Be careful, be wise, be assertive. Do not be deceived by human traffickers or would-be exploiters. If it sounds too good to be true, most likely it's not what it seems.
All right. And with that, we wrap things up. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for today's edition of Cop Chat. And of course, thanks to the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force for collaborating with WEFM on this one. Now we're going to end the live. If you've missed anything, then you can go back on our social media